Is it bad to go off and on keto often? Because I find myself doing that.
So science is kind of up in the air on this. So the Applied Science and Performance Lab in Tampa Bay, which is ketogenic.com, Dr. Ryan Lowry runs that lab. I hope I got the name right. They did a test on athletes to see if they could cycle keto. And so they had athletes who were already keto adapted switch to a cyclical keto diet. And by that I mean they had them go on and off keto basically at the weekends. So during the week they would eat a ketogenic diet. Saturday and Sunday they would eat a carb diet. And then Monday they would go back on. And then they compared that to a ketogenic control diet that was just ketogenic the whole time.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So those that cycled on the weekend didn't really reach nutritional ketosis, and we define that as 0.5 millimolars of ketones in your blood level. Mm-hmm. They didn't reach that level again until like late on Thursday. So really what they were only getting was 1 day or 1.5 days of real nutritional ketosis before they would cycle right back out. So that frequency of cycling really doesn't allow you to reap the full benefits of being in a ketogenic diet and having ketones in your body on a consistent basis.
And those results actually 2 summers ago, I can't remember how long ago, but Jeremy and I did a six-week trial where we did cyclical keto.
Yeah.
And we found the exact same thing. In fact, he would go in by about Thursday, and I would not necessarily be back into ketosis until end of the day Friday. So basically just in time. So we did not see benefits. But what was interesting, what we noticed, is the psychology around our eating habits. We would be looking forward to that Saturday and Sunday being off keto, and it became something we were thinking about during the entire week. So that I think that there's some psychology behind that. It's really especially when you're very first starting, because you guys let me know if I'm wrong, but when you very first start, it feels very restrictive. Mm-hmm. You have cravings. Now sometimes those cravings are simply emotional cravings, right? You're used to comforting yourself with a stop at Hardee's for, biscuits and gravy, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're used to doing certain things to comfort and soothe yourself or to deal with emotional things. Maybe it's after a long week, we would sit down on Friday nights with a plate of nachos. Like that was one of our things, and watch a movie. So sometimes it's just about, you're distracting me. Sometimes it's just about getting over and getting I don't want to say getting over the cravings, getting through the cravings to understand that what a craving really is just you're here at point A. So maybe you're stressed, you had a rough day, and you want to feel different. A craving is simply the difference between point A and point B. So what other things can you do to make yourself feel comforted? Maybe that's turning on the fireplace, getting a cup of chamomile tea, and watching a movie with your spouse, or having a good conversation about what's going on in your day.
Yeah.
Maybe that's trying something new like meditation or yoga. I don't want to do that. What I really want is, but if you do the other thing and you start to realize just how good you can feel energetically and physically. These things like, some people will reach for a glass of wine. Well, when you start studying your sleep cycle, you'll realize, oh, wait, alcohol's disrupting my sleep, making me feel worse throughout the day, and increasing my stress levels because I feel worse throughout the day. And my goal is to mitigate the stress, bring the stress down. So if you find yourself going off and on keto, I would take a good hard look at why that is.
Yeah.
Is it an emotional event that you're looking to soothe yourself with food, which is very common? Our brains are wired for it. We do get a dopamine release. In fact, the dopamine release comes before we even eat the food. It's really interesting. If you're really fascinated in stuff like this, The book Atomic Habits by James Clear is a fantastic read, and it really goes into these kinds of things. And it's a book I've read about 3 times now. I think I'm halfway through my 3rd reading of it. It's just, you read it the first time. It's one of those books you read it the first time, you get a lot out of it, but then you read it the second time, and there's even more there. So that would be my challenge to you.
So I'm just going to add a few points to this because this was like, you're right. We almost had like an addict's response to cyclical keto.
Yes.
Not really all that good for us.
No.
There's a doctor that I really like who runs a bariatric surgery lab named Robert Siwes. Mm-hmm. And he likens it to a carb addiction to being an alcoholic. And he says, an alcoholic who is sober, who has a drink of alcohol, that's falling off the wagon. I mean, that's bad, right? If somebody who's been sober for 5 years has a drink, that's a significant event in their life, right? They give up their chip, they do it's bad. So he likens that to carb addicts. And anytime we're doing that is we're giving up our chip, we're so addicted to it that we would sacrifice all of this stuff that we had gone through just to get that release, So he kind of likens it to that, which I really resonated with me. I don't know if I would go that hyperbolic, but it did resonate with me. It
makes the point that, wait a minute, the way the brain treats carbohydrates and sugar is the same type of a neural pathway. And so when you start to think about it like that, it changes how you react to it.
And we met somebody at Metabolic Health Summit who shared a story with us about her husband, and her husband would say, I have a stressful job, I deserve beer on the weekends. I deserve. That word is really, really strong. Get over what you think you deserve, because what you actually deserve is good health. Not the beer. That's what you want. That's what you crave, not what you deserve, right? There's a difference. So that was something I really struggled with until somebody that I work with, a coach, told me, you got to stop thinking about what you deserve, because you don't really deserve anything in life. You have to go out and get it. We deserve good health, and we have to go out and get it.
And isn't that what we teach our kids and our grandkids? I mean, we teach them that principle. So it's just reframing your language and figuring out what is it that's causing me to go off and on. So what we do we don't stay keto 100% of the time. So what we do when we decide, we make a decision. So these are the rules that we have if we're going to go off keto. Number 1, it's never just in the moment. We can't just go, I'm going to go off keto right now. Like, it has to be pre-planned, and we're accountability partners. So we have a set date and time to go off, and we have a set date and time to go on. And we have a discussion around that. And that cannot change. We don't get to move the date back. Because what happens if we don't have guardrails in place is it goes on and on and on and on. Yeah. And we learn that through our own personal experience.
Yeah.
And created those rules. And so those work for us. If you don't have an accountability partner, you can join my free keto support group and ask for an accountability partner. And the best way to do this, I see a lot of people ask for an accountability partner, but start being a cheerleader. Start responding to other people's comments. Show up like you're their accountability partner. And eventually you'll build a relationship.
Yeah.
And then get on video calls with them. I mean, we have this technology, this amazing technology these days. Schedule a video call every week for 30 minutes, and you each get 15 minutes. Maybe you want to make it longer than that. But you each set a timer and you have time to talk. And you just coach each other through things. Because sometimes we can get so hung up in our own stuff that we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Perfect.
Any other tips?
No.
No? Okay.